car dealership making that consistent income every month versus, oh crap, I got to come up with 50,000 this month to cover the bills. And in some months it's more, just because there's $300,000 a month in net bill and just like general bills, 300, 320. But then there's another 170 for me in rolling expenses. So what that means is like your rent, your commissions, your utilities, your advertising, everything you pay, your insurances, all that all adds up to 300,000. But the rolling expenses is if I go out and I buy 50 cars tomorrow, I got to pay for transportation. I got to pay for reconditioning. I got to pay for the smogs, the safety, the detailing, the paint, anything they need. And that comes back to me only when I sell the car in the form of a profit or a loss, which creates the income at the end of the month, which contributes to the income. And then there's also rolling expenses of what's called curtailment and interest. So on a $2 million line of credit, let's just say you max out a $2 million line of credit, or you have $2 million in a line of credit being used. The average for me with, $10,000 cars on average is my average cost. So 200 cars. The average is going to be about 26,000 a month in interest and fees not per car, but total. So 260 cars, it cost me about $100 a month. The 26,000 a month, and then there's another 5% in each month in curtailment. So there's another $100,000 a month in curtailment. 26 in interest and fees. That's 126, and you figure another 50 grand or so in reconditioning. So all of that goes into the cost of the car. So if I buy a car for 10,000, by the time I sell it, depending on how much money I've spent on interest and fees, I'm in that car 12,000. If I sell the car for 13,000, well, I make $1,000, not 3,000. And this is where it gets tricky because a lot of people, whoa, you paid less for the car. Yeah, I paid less for the car, but there's other fees involved. And if I caught everybody at the auction asleep on a car that was no reserve, and I pay $1,000 for a car, and that car is worth $10,000, and I make $9,000 profit, I deserve that, and I'm entitled to that. That's what balances it out. It doesn't mean I need to sell you the car for $2 or $3 grand just because I got it for $1,000. It's what's the value of the car and what's the cheapest you can get that car for if you're shopping everywhere else. And is this a car you want to buy, and the condition and the quality of the car. So, you got to look at all of those things. So $170,000 a month in rolling expenses, ballpark, $300,000 a month in fixed expenses. If you were to take everything I'm doing right now, start up tomorrow, and if you were to take over everything I'm doing right now, and I took all of my money and equity out and said everything's mine that comes in from all the cars that are sold, whatever, you got to have at least $500,000 just to pay bills for that month. Obviously there's income coming in, but even with that, you still got to come up with the 300K, and you got to have about a 200K rolling cost of doing business that you have to set aside. So that's how the business works. It's very stressful. I mean, it could be very stressful to a lot of people.